making your own rules again.
I did.
I hope we get all this though.
Oh, yeah,
No,
we're-
we'll put this at the end.
We need outtakes.
Yeah, we should.
But we are going right now. So, the conversation that I kind of caught that you thought was part of the show, but now is actually part of the show, is your rules making up something? I wasn't really listening.
Obviously. Josh had an observation
Yeah.
Yeah.
that we are not wearing headphones.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And there was some feedback
There's an assessment.
that
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
we make our own rules.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. You don't in this case because I'm in control of this literal show.
Uh-huh.
True.
And you didn't wear them one time.
Right.
And I said, you can keep not doing that, but you have to talk into the mic.
As long as you
if
sit
the
forward.
next time you try, you're talking like this and going all over and you can't. No, if that happens, then no, you have to wear the headphones. However,
We're doing great.
you guys have been doing great.
You have been
Well,
doing great.
and then
That's
Jeannie
true.
wasn't wearing them, and then I was like,
Wait.
"What?
Fair.
It's true.
I'm not wearing them if Jeannie doesn't have to wear them."
I hate it.
Well, my ears are always a problem, so
My
sure
ears are a
if you're there.
problem also.
Yeah, we have problem ears.
We have problem ears.
I like knowing that if I'm talking into the mic or not.
Yeah, I do
Like
too.
yeah.
I like that I
Right.
can judge if I'm in the mic or not. So,
Right.
Oh yeah, I am here.
Oh,
'Cause-
yeah.
I don't know though, because I feel like, well, whatever. I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself.
So I
So-
just expounded.
Well, you just made a joke about your ears, and I'm trying to not make a joke about you listening. So
Ooh.
I just wanted to leave that little sprinkle.
Good self-control.
And that's
Matt.
that's
Very
as far
good
as I'll go.
self-control.
I want to
Thanks.
remind
You know-
everybody that there's a Scorpio full moon on Monday.
Ooh,
Oh.
So maybe we should all leave
emotions.
sprinkles
Let's definitely leave some sprinkles.
and let it lay right
Let it
there.
be
as,
that.
as opposed to
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
Yes.
going
Yep.
into it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Fully.
I think you're right.
smart.
That'd be
Uh,
smart for us.
But I also was just commenting on the fact that Jessica and I do often make up our own rules,
Listen, I'm not lying.
and that there's a fine line between being seen by someone
Mm.
and being called out.
Mm-hmm.
I felt seen.
Yeah, it was
By
more of a
Josh.
scene.
Yeah.
It was
Just
definitely a
Josh,
scene.
you're not really a caller outer.
You're not a
No,
caller
I'm not
outer.
a caller
You're a
out- unless you
seer.
come into our studio.
with some opinions.
Unless you come into our studio talking some smack.
I got to see
Smack.
Josh in a state I have never witnessed him
Oh, man.
before.
Oh,
I was in a
like-
stare down with this woman.
I
I
was
was like,
like,
they came
what?
in and we had already been through it quite a bit.
We're talking like face to face across the counter.
Yeah,
just
I was
that.
like, "What's happening?"
And she did, I don't know what her goal was, but she didn't accomplish
She
it.
did not.
That's for sure. But, you know,
Well,
Yeah.
you can't come into our studio and say bigoted, racist things.
no.
No.
Can't do
no.
Can't do it.
She made it easy for me.
She did.
That's for sure.
It was very clear the steps forward.
Yeah, definitely.
To go back to the calling out versus being seen.
Yes.
Josh, what's your sign? What are you? Pisces.
Pisces.
Pisces,
Yeah.
Aquarius,
Aquarius.
Scorpio. I'm a Virgo. I feel like if anyone's going to call anyone out, it's going to be me.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
true.
got my Virgo rising. So
Okay.
Yeah, Jessica will
Mhm.
definitely do call outs.
Yeah.
Oftentimes in my TikTok feed, I see like Virgo, and someone talks about a Virgo, and it's usually like they will hit you with truths you didn't want to hear.
Mm.
Forgive them if they come across as too harsh. They're just attention to
A
detail.
little pokey.
Little pokey. That's not
Hmm.
ever my intention.
Ah.
Untrue.
Maybe
Yeah.
half the time.
Roll that back.
Harmony of doubt.
My favorite is when that just
That
happens.
is the best. That is-
Best.
Harmony of doubt is awesome.
It's good because it's usually more than one person that could carry a tune, and it makes it sound pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, next time I do it, I want to try to hit the
Hit it,
actual
okay.
harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh,
maybe get the third or above or below.
I'm just gonna do mine, so you're
You
gonna have
just
to do
do
it
the
around
melody.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll
I'm not
just
gonna know
try
what
to
I'm
match
doing.
yours. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we do things, we make our own rules. We maybe do things differently than other people do them. And today, I think the way that we do things was very much a boon. It was very much a feather in our cap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boom, great work.
We were talking
Good
about
word.
that on our little jaunt over to Green Star, the beloved Green Star. Just
We-
how I was like, I think that they were pleasantly surprised by what was before them in this meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were they expecting more clothes made out of like woven out of like?
We've talked
Canvas
about
or-
this, right? This
yeah.
light worker,
Yeah.
Right.
floatiness, which
Or just like
yeah,
a little disorganized, discombobulated. Like, do you know? There was a lot of questions where they're like, but do you know about this? And we're like, yeah.
Yes.
And they're like,
we're
okay,
aware.
okay.
Phew.
All right, so like you guys are good, like and I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you like? And then I had to pause because I'm also like, they probably have these meetings sometimes where it's like, have you thought about this at all before you
Right.
were like, you know what we
Right.
need?
Yeah.
$300,000.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
This person's like, I got a big dream.
I got a
I got a
dream.
big dream.
Yeah, so they kept like they would gingerly talk about something as if it's possible that we would be completely confused, caught off
blindsided,
guard,
yeah.
Right.
blindsided,
Huh.
and we're like, no, we
No.
we know,
we know
We're
about this
good.
part. Yeah.
and they're like,
Okay.
and then and then it
shit.
became a little bit of like, was she the vice president of the bank?
They're both VPs, I think. Like,
Yeah,
like,
VPs of
they're-
various things.
Yeah.
More than one
Mhm.
VP. What is this? A high school?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And she's just like, if we keep sitting in here, I'm just gonna keep asking you guys questions about like what you know.
what you're doing,
I-
and what's happening.
And that kind of shock of like, this is a yoga school, and
Because what even is a yoga school?
you've got
versus
all
a
of
yoga
that going
studio?
on. And
Right.
there was a bit of a conversation around that the building is in. Well, it's not currently, but everything is going to change in the middle of the summer around flood zones.
Mhm.
Your
Oh.
house also.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably,
Like flood
yeah.
zones will change?
Yes.
Or,
Are
oh,
you
really?
currently in
They
one?
reassessed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just check.
Continue.
Just check.
Check your
Yeah.
insurance.
Okay.
So they've
Yeah.
reassessed, and because of the change of weather patterns and
Oh.
water tables,
Oh.
because in Fall Creek,
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's called Fall Creek.
Right.
You are in between Fall Creek, which is an actual creek
Uh-huh.
that runs through, and
And
Cascadilla,
Cascadilla.
water table wise. And so it's a double whammy. If the water gets too high, that everything can flood.
I did hear about a time that like the parking lots of like the high school basically flooded over.
That
or,
has
like,
happened, not in a long time, because
Right.
they've
Yeah,
redone
it
drainage.
just it was like always like down
Do
by
you remember?
Wegmans
Yeah,
and
like-
the Hangar Theater.
Wegmans and
Oh.
Tops parking
Uh-huh.
lot.
There
Like
was
in
fish.
high school, you could fish
You could
in the
fish in
Tops
them.
parking
There
lot.
was fish.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Catch fish.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
That's
Fish in the
crazy.
hangar. Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So they redid the floodplains. Now the building is in a flood zone. So
Well,
when
I'm also just kind of like, how is all of Ithaca not in a flood zone? I mean, you've got Buttermilk, you've got
Yeah.
Six
It's
Mile,
everywhere.
you've got
Yeah.
Cascadilla, you've
Just-
got Fall Creek. Like,
it's just a bunch of nonsense.
yeah,
So what that means is you have to have flood insurance.
insurance.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, "Are you aware? We got to talk about the flood situation." And it was just like, it's like, yeah, like
Yeah.
we know
We're fine.
we know what
Yeah.
we're talking about
Fine.
here. But it was just very interesting to envision what other meetings they might have with people, because they
People
just
coming in with it for a yoga studio. We're
Right,
just
yeah.
having
or
that
just
like
in general. I mean,
Yeah.
people
Just in
have
general,
some
yeah.
ideas,
Yeah.
right? And like giving them all of our financial paperwork and talking to them. And so she was talking about the flood insurance, and she was essentially like, well, what we need to know as a bank and what the insurance companies want to know is like, if the entire building floods and you can't run your business, will you be able to still pay the loan?
Right.
And we're like,
that's not our business.
we make our money
It's our business,
Otherwise.
but
elsewhere.
Yes.
Like,
it's not our business.
and just the look, the look on people's faces, because it is different. Like, what we do is there's not like a
Right.
cookie cutter kind of situation for it. So we're just chatting away with our
Chatting
banking
away.
people, and
because they're relational bankers there.
That's
and I'm
family.
also like, did you
Yes.
guys look at any of our paperwork? Because they kept saying, they were like, well, you can open one of those accounts here, but you're gonna need $1,000 in it. And we're like,
No, that was a different lady who hadn't seen her stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
but the other two said something about the fee, like the fee to get an appraisal done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, what?
Like,
Yes,
right.
we know how much an appraisal is.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
what? It was just,
Yeah.
it was very, very interesting. So
It's not bad that she was like offering this information, but it's almost like she was
A little patronizing.
Yeah, I don't want to say
it
condescending.
didn't feel,
but
it
like
definitely didn't feel
It
like they were
didn't
very
feel-
sweet.
yeah.
literally shocked that you had this information.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm more just like, just look at our financials.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
Look at
Look
our
at the
financials.
track
Like-
record.
Papers, right?
Open up all the papers you
So,
had
like-
us send you.
Yeah.
I mean, do we want to spend $6,000 on an assessment? Like, no. can we? Sure. Like,
Right.
it's just
Right,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just that part was very interesting.
Yeah.
And you know,
So is
But they
this
were
the-
sweet.
is
they
this
were
the-
very sweet.
Is
Yeah.
this the first time on the pod we're mentioning that we're buying a building?
Maybe
I
Well,
think
we're
so.
hoping to buy a building.
We're hoping
yeah,
to buy a
we're
building.
in the
Buy a
process.
In the
of
process.
buying
Yeah.
a building.
Yeah.
we're in the process of buying a building, and
Which
step
I'm
by step.
so excited. You know what? I mean, everyone knows why I'm excited because
Do
I want to
we?
be able to set up this podcasting gear and leave it there
We can just
So we're
leave
gonna
it.
have a room.
and not have to. It's going to be the Jack
be a room.
Burton Memorial Podcasting Room.
I
There
love
we
it.
go.
Jack Burton.
Jack Burton is Kurt Russell's character from Big Trouble in Little China.
Fantastic.
Because
I'm
in the
gonna get you a
beginning,
plaque.
he's a truck driver. He's talking on the CB radio. That's kind of what we're doing here. So
Okay. All right.
yeah, She's
There will
called-
be
yeah.
signage for
Yeah.
the room
Yep.
on the door. I promise.
I like it.
It's the first time I'm on the podcast since I got my haircut.
That's
Your
true.
cutesy hair.
That's a front
Cutesy
catch.
haircut.
You got your haircut too. We all got all the ladies got
My
their
hair's
haircuts.
looked the same since 1994. So
No, it
That's
changes.
not
I have
true.
photos to prove
That's
it.
not
Definitely true.
Sometimes it's
No,
red.
sometimes you have
it's-
bangs,
Yeah,
sometimes you
have
don't have
bangs. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
it's pretty much pretty
No,
much the same.
this is along your illusion that you think what you look way different than you like now than you
Mhm.
did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
But my
like,
hair hasn't changed.
honey, you look exactly the same. And you're like shocked when people recognize you. Like, I knew them in high school. How do they recognize
Well,
me?
that
I'm
is
like,
weird.
honey cakes, you look exactly the
The
same.
same.
You didn't
Yeah.
go bald and grow a goatee and wear glasses
Right.
all of a sudden. Like, that's not. Didn't do that.
It's true.
Um,
I did wear my most responsible looking outfit today for
That's the key.
the bank meeting.
Which I love because
all
it
grown
is a yoga tank and leggings.
It's a yoga farm tank top.
Yoga farm tank top leggings.
and this what looks like a Ren Fair shirt.
Flax.
Flax,
a little
that's it.
flax
Flax.
over
There we
coat.
go.
Flax
The
throwback
flax, like,
to
yeah. Uh-huh.
when Ithaca was the flax capital. Not the raw material. The clothing brand.
The great flax fields we have.
Flax
I was like,
Flax.
wow, I never knew about the flax capital. I never heard this.
The things you learn on this
Yeah,
podcast.
who knew?
But I also had such gratitude that I'm going into this bank meeting with Jessica because I've been in many business meetings in my life with people,
Mm-hmm. Not me.
and the amount of anxiety that I would have going into many of those meetings because I'm like, just the like when you know who somebody is and you appreciate the work that they do in the world and like the work that you do together, and yet sometimes they're super out of pocket. And then there's cleanup that has to happen. And in most scenarios, that's fine. But then you go to like have a meeting with a bank or a lawyer or an investment firm, like something like that. And you're like,
Don't say it. Yeah, don't do it.
and I'm like, wow, this is the first like business meeting in Ithaca that I've had to go to where I didn't drive there full of anxiety and have to have in my pocket like
All the apologies and the
Yes,
yeah.
they get out of
Interruptions.
jail. Yeah, right.
interruptions.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That is
we also
nice.
didn't wear toe shoes, which is a bonus.
What?
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
ballet toe shoes?
No.
Open toe shoes.
No, you know those
Oh,
shoes where
like where your toes
all
are.
of your toes.
Oh.
like gloves,
my
like gloves
God.
for your feet. Those foot gloves. Well,
Those aren't the ones
I
you
don't
wear when you
own
want to get
those,
alone.
so
No, those
It's
aren't loan
just-
shoes. No.
It's just like there are people in suits here. Like obviously I'm not dressed in a suit, but like there's a line. You can be
You can get closer to the
you
line.
can be in the
Yes.
both ends
Yes,
of it.
Absolutely.
Flax jacket.
yeah.
Black jacket.
Linen
That's
even.
right.
Right.
Okay.
Well, thanks.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't actually even think about having anxiety for this meeting. It didn't
That's
occur to
good.
me.
That's why you're here.
That's
Because
right.
someone needs to fly the ship that doesn't operate with anxiety. We need someone who's delulu enough to be like, we got this.
We got
all the
this.
time."
Well, which is what I usually think about
That's key.
everything. So
We
you're
are
right.
often
I am
in
Delulu
that
enough,
level.
Matt.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean that's another way that we
Mm.
make our own rules.
Mhm.
That's right.
When in
got
doubt,
this.
be Delulu
Be
about
Delulu.
everything
Be
working out.
Delulu.
Everything
Yeah.
working
It's
out.
great.
Should make a sticker.
We should make stickers.
should.
Delulu. I love it. One last front desk before we get into what we're talking about is there's a new pope.
New Pope.
How
New
exciting is that?
Pope. We were
There's a new pope.
popeful. Did it work out?
Yes. I mean, of course, I was watching it. I mean, the conclave was 2 days, which
Yeah.
everyone, you were like, that's so fast. I'm like, how long was the last one? In 2013, it was
2
2
days.
days.
Oh.
Like, well, what about the one before that? 2 days.
Wow.
Oh,
It
that
is
wasn't
pretty
that
quick.
fast.
And
You
like-
know, it's way less dramatic when you think of it. Is it going to take them 2 days to figure this out?
I think
Yeah.
John Paul II in 78 was 3 days.
Wow.
But the ones in
Drama.
our lifetime.
But there was
High
one
drama.
that lasted like 3 years.
Yeah, in like 1286.
Really?
3
It,
years.
it was like a year. It was 1,000 days.
Wow.
So,
1,000.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
it's a
like
few
3
years. Yeah.
How many popes have there been? When was the first
This
pope?
is the 270th, I think.
Ooh.
Like 76
I
or
think
something
so.
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like they like to trace the lineage all the way back to Saint
Saint Peter,
Peter,
yeah.
who was an apostle, like at
Okay.
30 some odd AD. But I think when we started having conclaves and keeping track of popes, it was in like middle ages, like 1100s
Yeah.
was the first conclave.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then from then on, yeah. So
Well,
it's all told,
I just have
200
to
something.
say, watch the movie Conclave.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great movie.
It's so good.
I watched it last night.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Because of
Yeah, because of
Yeah,
it.
uh-huh,
Yeah,
you were like-
100%.
you're like, I'm gonna
do that.
But I also kind of felt like I should have done it before
Uh-huh.
they like decided because I was like, oh, now it's over. It's like I already know. But it was really good.
But it was
Yeah.
like-
very.
There's a lot of.
It's like the behind the, like if we're going to go on that this is relatively accurate, the behind the scenes of what's going on there with all the little cardinals doing their little
Yeah.
cardinally things.
Which I did not realize that the previous Pope Francis actually added to the number of cardinals, like, and the countries that they are in now. Like, I don't know if like there's 165 now, and I think there was like 130 or 40. Like he added a
Oh,
bunch.
that's a big addition.
A
Yeah.
big addition.
Cool.
It's significant, yeah. But not all of them are eligible to be Pope because you have to be under 80 to be eligible to be elected.
You have to
Ah.
be
If you're
under
80 or
80.
over, you are
High standards.
Yeah,
Thank
you're-
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
That's-
Okay.
Do you have to be
I'm-
over a certain age?
not gonna
like
go.
you have to be
Should
like
have that
over
for our
60 but
summer.
under 80?
Well, you have
No.
to climb the. Apparently, there's some ladder you have to
ladder?
climb.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be a
a
cardinal,
papal ladder.
which is, it's the next.
You have to get
Uh,
multiple promotions.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
like you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
So it
just
takes
like
the
this-
top.
time.
The Cardinals
like you
are
can't
like the top
go
top.
to school and be a pope.
Right.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
No 24-year-old
You don't
popes.
get
You'd be chosen.
Yeah.
right.
I mean, also you'd be the pope for a long time, hypothetically.
Yeah.
If,
If
you're the
you-
pope
if
till
you don't
die.
retire.
Until you die.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Oh, you
yeah.
can retire
Yep.
Yeah.
Benedict the 16th retired. He didn't die in an office or as pope.
in office.
elected office.
On the throne.
You're right. Yeah.
Wild.
Was
Yeah.
shocked because I remember reading the names of who the most likely to be named pope were.
Yep.
And I don't remember this guy's name, but I wasn't sure. But he's American, which
Mhm.
is like the
First American pope.
First
Blew
ever.
my mind.
From
Chicago.
From Chicago.
Check
There was a
out.
lot of very funny things on the internet.
Oh, yeah. His
yesterday
first
about
act
him being from Chicago.
His first act is to
Like-
bring deep dish pizza to Italy.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He's gonna dye the river green on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, exactly. You should.
Tiber River.
amazing.
It's awesome. My first actual question though is like, can he speak other languages?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
can he?
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
he spent most of his career in Peru.
Okay.
So he's actually
Right.
like, and
Yeah,
he-
because he's also the Peruvian Peruvian
Pontificate?
no. cardinal.
Yeah.
He was the
Yeah,
cardinal
yeah,
to
yeah.
Peru.
yeah, he was like a missionary, and so he speaks Italian, Spanish. He speaks a lot of different
Wow.
languages. Yeah.
I would imagine so if he was Pope, but being American, I was first like, can you speak another language?
Yeah, no, I
But,
thought the same thing.
yeah.
I was like, oh, he's gonna give his acceptance speech in English.
Oh,
English, right?
Gonna make all
God.
these Italians
Oh,
furious.
God.
He did it in
No, he
Italian?
did it in Italian.
He did.
Yeah,
Oh, he did?
he did it in
Oh,
Italian.
cool.
Yeah.
I
Um,
imagine that if you want to be Pope someday, you learn Italian like when you're 12.
Right off the bat.
Serious.
You're
Yeah.
like, this is what I'm doing for
Yeah.
my summer break.
Yeah,
Well, and it was so
pretty
funny.
much.
Like the papers, like right away, the Cubs came out and said, "Hey, Chicago, he's a Cubs fan." And then his brother got interviewed yesterday and was like, "Absolutely not. He's not a Cubs fan."
Oh, that's
Like
amazing.
he was like, "That is not true. We did not say that." And he's been a Sox fan his whole life.
Oh,
sure.
that's funny.
Which is like hilarious and so
Isn't that
insignificant.
hilarious?
Yeah.
That, like the Pope is a baseball fan.
Yeah, there's
Right.
You
people
know what I
keep
mean?
saying like a bunch of funny things. Like this Pope like has definitely had a Big Mac, has definitely like knows about stuff we know about,
Uh-huh.
which is like a funny thing to think about.
This
you
Pope
know?
is also not excited for the Bears this season.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like they said we have an American Pope before the Bears have ever had a 4,000-yard passer as quarterback, which it's a sports thing. But it's yeah, there's a lot of funny things.
Yeah.
A lot of
And
funny
what
things.
I think what I'm seeing is accurate. Like they're pulling up some recent tweets, especially like if he said stuff about JD Vance. and
Yeah.
About like
About immigration.
that
and-
immigrant. Yeah, he's like very pro-migrant. You know, like
Yeah.
it's all the things he seems to be standing for is hopeful. It feels
Yeah.
really good. Like and I
Hopeful.
Yeah.
had a moment where I was like, he's American. Like, what's this gonna be like?
We're still
Seriously.
hopeful.
Yeah.
Can be
So-
I
popeful.
just am really happy. I had a moment like very quickly after the news came out. I was like, great. There is a different elected person from the United States that has more power
Yeah, by a lot.
Right. A lot of influence.
Yeah.
than
Totally.
the American president.
That's right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Who is going to be out? That's what I was hoping for. Like, speaking of calling out and being seen, like I want some calling out.
Yeah.
on,
Yes.
like, the actions of this administration. So
Yep.
like
What did our current president say about it? I saw a headline, but I didn't read it.
I saw one thing that just said it's a great honor to have someone from the U.S.
Okay,
as
so-
Pope. I mean,
'Cause I have a feeling that there's not a lot of
He
love
said,
there.
America.
Not a lot of
fuck
love
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Is
He
that
probably
the song?
did. Yeah.
no, I think.
On
Well, I
social
saw
media,
one.
I
Team
don't know what's going on.
I did see one clip where
I
like,
don't know what that song is from,
It's
but
from
it is a
Team
song.
America World Police.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
very, very funny show.
It is a
That
very
movie.
funny.
Amazing.
I
Creators
did
of
see a
South Park.
clip where they said that the Pope should have
Yeah.
walked out on the balcony to the Chicago Bulls intro
Yeah,
music.
doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, for Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Like
my God.
there were so many hilarious videos like that. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, Pope Leo
Okay.
the 14th.
Yeah.
Leo
Leo's
the
a great name.
14th.
Leo's
Leo's a
good.
great
Yeah.
name.
I like it.
I like it too.
The Lion.
The lion, yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Love it.
Bring it.
Let's go.
Well, we're not here to talk about popes.
No.
No,
We
we're not.
No.
I could talk about popes. If I was ever going to get a doctorate, it would be on the papacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I could,
Really?
I could research that, especially in like Middle Ages.
Incredibly
I
interesting.
mean, the
Years
fact you were
from
dropping
now-
just now, I was like, what the fuck
Of-
is going
Oh,
on?
That he has in our library about the papacy, popes,
Or
the
like this,
the structure, the
history of the Catholic Church, especially
history of the Catholic Church.
Actually,
Mm-hmm.
from antiquity and its start to the Middle Ages is just so I could read about that forever and every day. It is
Yep.
so fascinating to me.
Well, it's like global politics.
Really?
In a way that is
Yeah.
totally unmatched in the
Mhm.
whole world. You
Right.
know, like it really is a
Well-
seat of power that is
Yeah.
like very different than everything
Mhm.
else.
And I feel like there were multiple like psychics, astrologists, like people in that realm who have told you
Oh,
that you were
I
a bishop.
no, I did have I had a reading one time and I asked about past lives and one of them I was a priest in Italy in the Middle Ages ish, like 900s Italy,
Mm-hmm.
and my superiors were not quite happy with me.
Hmm.
Like they weren't
Mm.
like you're gonna burn you with a stake or anything like that, but just like
Making your own
They
rules.
were
huh,
like-
Matt?
yeah.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah,
Sit down.
kind of. My theory is that this was that version of myself was way into Mary Magdalene and that whole like
Yeah.
theory and
Mhm.
study. So like that's what I think. So I was really into
Got
that,
it.
and they're like, "Would you please stop?"
Yeah, stop pushing
I'd be
everybody.
like, "No, man,
Yeah, it's the
that's
truth.
about it."
Okay.
I love it.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
I love it.
But that today is human design.
Human
Ooh.
design.
I hope everyone can teach me things because
Me too.
I'm just going to reiterate something that I said before the podcast, which is that the only person on our team who has officially done any study of human design is not on this podcast right
Oh.
now.
That's
So
true.
That's right.
Who is it?
Sabrina.
Sabrina.
Oh, this
She's
is
taking, I mean, it's an online
That's
course,
awesome.
but I know.
well, this
I
is
was
a
like-
scheduling snafu on our part.
Or
Well-
is it?
Sabrina
Oh,
also
or is it? Yeah.
has to drive to Rhode Island today.
She's
Yeah.
in New
So,
Hampshire.
She does. And we
no,
decided
it's
that we
Rhode
couldn't
Island.
Yeah.
couldn't have 3 projectors.
We don't need 3 projectors on a
on a
podcast.
No.
podcast.
All right.
Just
Too many.
I don't know what that means, but you say projector. Apparently, so with human design, it's another personality typing.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
solely based on your birthday and time and place.
Right.
So more like traditional
Astrology.
astrology that we
Right. There's
Not-
no
Not like Enneagram.
Like Enneagram
Right.
or
Where you ask a bunch
Myers-Briggs
of
or-
questions,
Right.
answer a bunch
This
of
isn't
questions.
based on like your response to the world or how you like what motivates your behavior.
Mhm.
It's just date, time, place you were born.
Yes,
Makes it easy.
I like to think of human design as the weird one.
it is the weird one.
The weird
one. It is. Yeah.
And I
agree.
did read an entire book around how human design came about and where the system unfolded from, which is kind of like an overlap of a bunch of different
It's
systems.
a little like I Ching.
Yes.
Yeah, a little I
yes.
Ching.
And immediately I was like, oh my God, this is so confusing and overwhelming. I'm going to go back to just trying to figure out my own chart and profile, which I also have failed at epically multiple times.
Oh, like understanding the chart?
Yes, because there's just so many components. Like
Yeah.
it feels even more complicated than an astrological chart to me. And it could be that I've looked at astrology
Mm.
charts for
Decades.
yeah, 30 years.
You're real old, so a long time.
Right. Right.
I love you
And
so
I
much.
have not been looking at human design charts for 30 years.
I think it is more confusing though, because like if you think of an astrology chart, there's like 12 houses above, below, 9 planets, you know, a couple like
all the
other things.
all
like,
the vocabulary being used are words we
Words you
already
know.
We
So,
know,
like,
right?
yeah.
But like this is like
No way, yeah.
centers and gates and
Lines.
lines
Mhm.
and like then there's the like crosses and angles and like it's
You can get your chart for free on the website, or like there's a paid for version of the app. But if you go to her website, you can just type in your stuff.
yeah.
And
Which
it's,
website?
I did that today.
Jenna
The one with
Zoe.
HD, that's the app I
Mhm.
have but don't pay for.
Oh, you have the human design app.
Yeah, but
Then
I
there's
don't pay for
Jenna
it, so.
Zoe.
Yeah,
She
She
that's the
has an
one.
app.
I have a paid. That's the paid. It's
Jovian.
$5.
Jovian.
Jovian is another
Uh-huh.
website.
Alright.
Yep.
But we also have Elisa Davis, who's one of our alumni, and she did my human design chart
Oh word.
live
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's on
in
YouTube.
our
Yeah,
Oh.
check
in our
it out.
YouTube.
It's on
On
YouTube. Check it out.
YouTube.
There you go.
Um,
On YouTube, yeah.
And she'll do like what I appreciated about the way that Elisa read my chart was like I came away from that reading knowing so much more and feeling like I had like a plan or like tools on how to work within this, aside from like, you know, like if you're reading astrology and someone's like, well, you know, your moon is in a water sign, but they're not like and they'll be like, that means like you might be really emotional, but without any like, so this is how you apply it
Yeah.
to your
Mm.
life.
Yep.
Mhm.
So it just kind of stays up in the theoretical ether, which I think
Mm.
is why my chart just kept floating out of my brain because I'm like, I don't know what to do with this.
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
So,
Human design is definitely more instructional
yeah.
and more
Oh.
like almost a little more like destined. Like
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if the only info is your date of birth and time and place, right? Like,
Yeah.
This is, you just that's
Mhm.
it.
yeah.
Man.
Right. And
The-
whereas like the planets are consistently changing,
Yep.
transits are happening, things are going. So like your chart is consistently in motion in
Hmm.
astrology.
Yep.
Your human design chart is your chart.
Yep.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
Like that. that's
So
your chart.
how did it come about? What was?
Oh
the-
God. It's
It's like a person. Was it a person
yeah, it
who
was
did
this
it? Who brought it
guy
together?
and he kind of had this like
or a bunch of people? Yeah.
inspired download of overlapping all of these existing systems into understanding the human population and
Okay.
why it felt like some people operate in this kind of, I like to say droid model. Well, I used to say Terminator model, but Matt says I can't say that.
You should say that.
It's weird, I know.
Droid model is way better.
Like droid model.
Because Terminators are like
Kill
terminating
machines.
you.
Yeah, kill
Yeah.
machines. Yeah.
It's like
because they're all
They're
like
killing
the killer
machines.
machines.
Machines' only purpose is to kill people. So I thought maybe
Whereas
These
droids,
droids
you can have
have
any kind of droid. Do you have
any
a
kind
killing
of
droid or a
I have
peace
translating
droid, or
droid
transcend
or a-
droid?
yeah,
Yeah,
all-
house
all the
cleaning droid,
helpful,
a weeding
friendly
Snuggle droid.
Snuggle droid. You get those in Japan.
Snuggle
That's true.
droid.
Is that true?
I mean, if we're talking about
Okay. We're all done with this.
that,
We're done.
You mean the like rent a boyfriend?
Oh
kinda,
my God.
That's what I was
I like to
alluding
see Matt. Matt
They're
was
so
like,
cute.
should I
Have you watched those
say?"
videos? The girls will rent like 4 boyfriends at once, and they'll just like go on.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's cute.
What an age we live in.
I know, right?
So
God.
Asia,
it combines,
whole different.
so the human design system combines the I Ching,
I Ching.
the Kabbalah,
Mm.
thing. Okay,
and the chakra system, the
Yep.
Hindu
Yeah.
got it.
Brahmin
chart-
chakra system.
That I took away from the chart.
Yes.
I noticed the
Yep.
chakras on the
Yep.
diagram. Yeah.
And then also there's elements of quantum physics that, because I'm pretty sure, I know, right?
Josh and I just reacted like dogs. I heard something.
It's true. Oh, really?
I'm like, oh god.
we did the same exact thing. I was like, wow, throwing some quantum physics
Like
in there.
someone opened a Ratchverse.
It's like an activating word for men. I swear to God.
Whereas like it literally kind of made my eyes roll.
Like the second
like,
that
oh,
you
this is
say
has to do-
anything has to do with quantum physics, men are like, it's legit. It's legit.
It's very
This is
interesting.
it.
Quantum physics is like the
I-
most
This
interesting
is a
thing
hard
ever.
science, guys.
All right.
This
To be
is not
fair,
a soft science.
I am just saying I'm right. It's fascinating. I'm interested in it. That being involved in this doesn't make me think, okay, now it's actual
right,
legit.
yes.
I'm just like, oh, I had no idea.
Me
that-
too. That's
I'm just
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
it's
Excited.
like the Winter Soldier's activation word.
Uh-huh.
It was for us. Yeah. I was like,
Quantum
what?
physics, gorilla fight,
Yeah.
pizza. Ugh.
Oh.
Jesus. Christ. Okay, so there
Oh my
are
God.
5 types
5 types.
of
Humans.
human designs.
Human designs.
Honey, You
Yes.
are a.
I am a manifesting generator.
Yes.
And I am.
Joshua.
I'm a projector.
Projector.
I was going to go after Matt because I'm also a man gen.
That's fine.
Okay.
Wait.
Man gen.
And
man
I
gen.
am also a projector.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Man gen, projector, man gen, projector.
Yep.
Okay.
And
So-
Sabrina is also a projector.
Okay. So
We do not have generators.
We don't
Okay,
have
so it's-
generators. We
there
don't
are
have
types-
manifestors.
There's generators.
Yep.
Mhm.
There's manifestors.
Manifestors.
Manifesting generator.
Mhm.
Yep. Projectors.
Projector and
Reflectors.
reflector is the
Ooh.
last.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Reflect. I forgot about
Um,
that one.
Yeah, I still don't know what that means for me. I have to refer to the app every single time.
Every single time. What it
Yeah.
means to be a manifesting generator.
Right.
Oh, it means that we.
Multi-passionate people.
Yeah.
Is that what? Is that? I mean, that's what the
Yeah.
app says.
I take it like we are both able to like pull
Mm,
in ideas and make them happen.
okay.
Like to me, manifestors all about like you're thinking things up. You're like
Right.
the ideas are coming in, but you can't always put them into action.
Right.
And the generators are like the little worker bees.
Okay.
And so we have the ability to both like come
Ooh.
up with ideas and make them happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not only that, you can make you can be successful in multiple things at a
Mhm.
level that other design types can't. Like
All right.
you don't
So-
have to, where like people are like niche down,
Yeah.
get really good at one thing. You could be a
Or
3-sport
Mavericks.
athlete.
Right.
Ooh,
we were
okay.
never. I wouldn't say athlete.
Definitely
played-
was never an
I
athlete.
played baseball.
I played softball.
That feels good because sometimes when I think about things I would like to do or try, it's like, oh, but if I'm going to do this and make this work or try to make it work, can I do this other thing too? I'm like, that's either too different or whatever. But it sounds like, no, man, I should lean into more of that. Like diversify.
Well, and you're not gonna like this, but
You don't know me.
manifesting generators are really the only design type that can multitask.
Oh, you're right. I hate that.
Yeah.
I
Multi-
love it.
Multitasking. You tried to catch me on this. You gave me a test not too long ago.
I did.
Apparently, there's a theory that men cannot
Can't multitask.
and women and women can, or
Josh is
women can do
offended.
it. Women can do it much
that
easier than men can. And there
Okay.
was a thing going around the internet where women in partnership, a woman would ask a man to tell a story while he was doing a task, like folding the laundry. More often than not, the man could not tell
Every
the story.
time he started to tell the
would
story,
have
he
to
would stop what he was
doing
doing.
the task.
And then they would go, okay, but keep folding the laundry. But I make you fold a towel?
Yeah, we were folding laundry, folding stuff. You're
Towels
like-
are tough,
You're
though,
like,
actually.
first of all, you're
I
like,
fold my towels so badly.
you're
I
like,
cannot
fold
figure
these
it out.
shirts.
Roll
I'm
'em.
like, this is
I
already.
j-
Well,
Test.
They become so big. I like when I'm done folding a towel. It's like the biggest.
it's bigger than it was.
Too
when it
big.
started.
Yeah, it's like huge.
I roll my towels.
I'll show you how to fold a towel because
Okay.
there's a right way and then every other way is wrong.
There we go. I need to know.
Yeah, well, when you tried to do this with me, we were in the bedroom, we were cleaning up the place, and you say to me, "Hey, can you fold these shirts?" I'm like, I smell a test. My spidey sense is tingling. This has never happened in
It's
our
an experiment here.
She's got her phone out.
Oh,
She's like,
I didn't
she's
record
got a
it.
notebook. Like, I knew something was up, so I'm like, I know exactly
Subject
what
has
this
picked
is.
up the towel.
And you said, "Tell me," and you asked me a question like, "Tell me about." Like the home run I hit playing baseball and the League World Series. Like, tell me that story.
Tell me the story.
And I'm like,
What's going
you're
on?
not
here?
as sneaky as you think you are.
You didn't sneak at all.
That being said, I will say it took effort and concentration to make sure. Because I'm like, I'm not gonna let her fucking get me on this. I'm gonna tell the story and
And
fold
fold the
these shirts at the
towels.
same time. And it was like I almost had to one of those had to go on autopilot. So I'm like, I'm gonna tell the story. And then I'm just going to not even think about the shirts.
Yeah.
Like I know how to fold a shirt. Like I can
Yeah.
just zone out from the shirt
Yeah.
and focus on telling the story. Because if I pause with the story, it is going to be obvious that I can't multitask. Like if I pause, I'm like thinking of something to say and then folding. Like that's going to get me. But if I can just focus on the story and just keep moving my hands, I could prove her wrong. But it was
It's so obvious.
it did take effort. Yeah.
Well, and like,
and you're a man, Jen. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And technically, what they were asking people to do, they were asking their husbands to cut out like
Oh,
a
yeah.
star
Yeah.
shape, like to cut
Okay.
out something that they had drawn. They're like, cut this out for the kids. And so they're like, do. And every single time they would start talking about the story, they would stop cutting.
Huh.
And
Yeah,
then
it was really interesting.
And they'd be like, no, keep cutting. We got to get these done before the kids get home. So they start cutting and the story goes away. And it was just like reel after reel after reel. And I'm like, I think there is something to this. I think there is
Oh.
something very distinctly true. I mean, I also believe that the majority of people aren't good at multitasking. They can do it, but instead of doing one thing and doing it well, they're doing multiple things shittily. So that's just what I think. But manifesting generators allegedly are the ones who have enough like of the ether, enough of the inspiration coming in and enough of the energy going out to be able to do multiple things at one time
It's
reasonably
if
well.
I didn't know of that test existed, I don't. Who knows? It was already a flawed experiment because I was aware of the
Yes,
test.
Right.
you were aware.
But I will say it did take effort. Like I had to concentrate on one.
But you also were trying to pass a test, which in and of itself creates, right? Like
Right,
that
true.
stress.
well,
and,
let's be
like,
clear.
Yeah.
He was trying to make sure I wasn't right,
That's right.
Which I'm usually awesome.
which
about.
has a heavy and strong motivating factor.
It does.
fair.
Yeah.
But so wait, they did the test with women, and women
Women
were
can do
better
it.
at it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You gonna take
Um,
this home?
No, I was.
Test it
I
out?
think I've heard that this before, where there was like an evolutionary aspect to it,
Probably,
where men
right?
are focused on, the example was that women you could in the home, like kids can be asking mom questions while they do things,
And you still have to get
and
the
they're
chores
still
done and
doing the things.
Right.
dinner cooked.
And men, when they are asked things, like they get zero focus, like they get zeroed in focused on everything that they do, and so it's like and then they can hear like something a mile away, like that's a threat, but they can't focus on two things at once.
Cool.
But women are able to do that because they're used to doing it all the time.
Yeah, I'm going to put out a theory that is backed in just my experience from teaching high school. This goes back to the earliest hunter-gatherer societies. This is the hunt. This is the men on the hunt, and you don't want to talk. You don't want to. You want to be
you
silent.
don't want to talk. You have to be
You
quiet.
don't. Yeah, you just like you're not using the part of your brain that has a conversation. You're using the brain that is running, smelling, tracking, and that's-
eyesight,
Yeah,
sharp,
and this
like,
is not the verbal. So connecting
Yeah.
those two. That's my theory.
Hey,
Yeah.
man,
That was what was going through my head. Was
Yeah,
like,
pretty
yeah,
good.
Look at that.
there you go.
Give that to Jessica.
way back. Pass it along.
There you go.
So then we have on the team projectors. Projectors are only like 16% of the
Spiritual.
population,
That's
and
right.
we happen to have 3 of them
That's
on
right.
the
We
team.
rare.
Wow, we have 80% of them
right.
in the world.
And they're basically guides and strategists.
Okay.
So projectors can see and understand things on a level that other people can't actually see.
That's cool.
And one of the most frustrating things for projectors is like projectors will say something or make a suggestion or have an observation of like how this could be done more efficiently or more easefully. And manifestors, generators, and mangens will go into the place of like, but that's not how we've done it before. Like, why are you trying to change things when it's been done? So it can feel a little bit like, or like, how do you know that this will be better? Like what proof do you have? And it's like, well, I just know. Right. And that feels uncomfortable, for people to have to trust that like, we might just know stuff.
They might just know it.
Might just know,
Huh.
having not yet had the opportunity to test it out.
Yeah.
And then manifestors, generators, and mangens might have like a little bit of like, well, I don't know why we would change things,
Interesting.
Or whatever.
Like a pushback to a change.
Yeah. Or it's like an unproven way of doing something that's it kind of already works in a way. Yeah, I could totally see how I would fit in that.
Yeah, it's like the hardest thing for projectors is to be patient. One of the gifts of projectors is to be incredibly sensitive, and not like I don't mean like feeling sensitive or like hurt in that way, but like sensing things. So sensing the vibes are off, sensing like you probably knew something was weird before that woman even walked into
100%.
the room. You're
Yeah.
like, what's going on here?
Oh,
What's
yeah.
going on?
Meanwhile, I walk in the room and I'm like, hey! I mean, I got it pretty quickly, but I definitely was like,
Uh-huh.
I didn't know until I was through the door and looking deep in eyes.
Oh, it was very funny. Yeah,
And
definitely.
the important thing for projectors to do, like to experience, is being invited into decision making. So like I know this as a projector, so I can employ that like as a part of this organization and intentionally reach out. I mean, obviously here we're a small team and it's like it goes out to everybody, but like specifically like, Josh, what do you think about this thing? Or Sabrina, how would you do this thing? Or like, actually, the two of you figure out how to do this thing. But there has to be that invitation piece, because if projectors are not invited in, there's usually a rub. Like they get not the feedback that they're seeking to fully step into that spot. So a dynamic like in relationship, right, would be if, I don't know, I'm going to make something up, babe. Make something up.
What?
So let's say Matt
Is it-
isn't doing something very efficiently. Something is taking an extraordinarily long amount of time.
Matt's
I mean,
washing the dishes.
More accurate is that being distracted by other things.
Ooh, I have a real example.
Yes.
Real example.
Is that better or
Unless it-
worse?
it's
I mean, we'll see.
better.
I might spend the night at your house tonight.
I have an extra bedroom.
The real example is the taking the dogs out. All right. So Matt is the best animal owner in the history of animal
I've
owners.
never.
I'm
she has not
convinced.
told me this.
This is
before
not
this
true.
Moment.
This is not true.
I don't know.
Soak it up.
He's the best animal owner that is out there. These dogs that we have are so extraordinarily, extravagantly spoiled
Oh, we're gonna link a picture.
by Matt.
Oh, we should.
We're gonna link
Speaking
a picture.
of which, when I left, I moved the crate into the library,
Mm.
and I put Beethoven on Pandora.
Hell yeah,
So
dude.
the two big dogs are in the crate. Lincoln is sleeping in a chair, and I left music on for them.
That's so nice.
He'll leave on like 101 Dalmatians
I do.
or
Man, that's so thoughtful.
Lady and the Tramp.
so these dogs get at least 2, often 3 walks a day.
Damn.
3 walks a day.
That's
They're
pretty
not
kind.
long, but they're walks. The 2 big dogs. The little one doesn't want to go outside ever. So it's, he's like, why do we do that? I'm a cat. I am like, we need a run. I need you to install a run that goes from the back door to the tall back tree so I can hook these dogs out in the middle of the day and they can just go out there, not go anywhere, not get lost, be outside, which is where they want to be anyway. And they could just be crazy on the run together. And it doesn't mean that you don't still take them on a morning walk at 6 a.m. But like, let's also have an efficient way to do this on the days where things are super busy, because our dogs have been conditioned now. So then they don't get a walk because we're busy and they act like buttholes.
They get
Yeah.
cranky.
If there's
Mischief.
I can tell on the evening walk if there's only the morning walk. They're just so hyped. They're smelling all the smells and they're not listening.
It's chaos.
Yeah,
They're
it's
not
interesting.
pooping efficiently.
No.
So I'm like, this is a more efficient way to do this. But he doesn't care about my opinion about the dog walking, which is fair because I don't do it.
I
don't-
care about your opinion.
There we go. Okay.
I don't take the dogs out. Harmony of doubt. I don't take the dogs out. The dogs are like all pretty much Matt. I snuggle them. And so anytime I'm like, hey, do you know what could be easier? Immediate brain shutdown, because I'm a projector and I didn't get invited. At no point was he like, honey, I'm overwhelmed with the dogs. Can you give me a different idea on how to do this? Never has he said that. I am like, I don't want you to walk the dogs right now. I want you to put the dogs outside because we are in the middle of doing something and they don't get to dictate everything that we're doing.
And that's like, oh, they do though.
But I didn't get an invitation. And so my suggestion, brick wall. Like it's got nowhere to go. And this can happen in work environments for projectors. It can happen in relationships for projectors.
So even though you have, like, you don't need to have the invitation to come up with the suggestion.
Right.
But if you offer the suggestion without the invitation, the other person just will not receive it from you.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if I had said to Matt, hey, Matt, maybe you should put up a run, Matt would be like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
Oh,
Because
that's
I'm a
happened
man gen.
before. That has totally happened before where like I'll have said something and then like someone else will say it to him and he's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like definitely because
Interesting.
he hears it and it's like an energetic, it's probably the quantum physics, honestly.
That's where this
Please.
comes in. Now my eyes are
Vibration.
stopping to roll. Yeah.
There we go.
But like, you know, you can work within it. So as far as our business is concerned, right? Like it wouldn't go anywhere for either Josh or I to like knock on doors and be like, hey, you want to come to a yoga class? Hey, would you like some voice lessons? Hey, would you like to do the thing that we're doing? People would be like, ew, why are you here? Get off my porch. Right? But we put an ad out like a bat signal and it's just there and people can respond to it. And usually like our ads, we have an invitation. We have a system of like, if you're interested, come to a Q&A. The second that somebody shows up in our Q&A or
And they've
clicks
said
on
yes to your invitation.
sign up for the
right?
mailing list, something like that, that's the invitation.
Huh.
That's the
Okay.
invitation.
Okay.
Right. So it's like we have to be mindful. I have to be mindful, particularly as like a teacher and the director of the organization, to not be too in people's faces because it will be like, ugh.
Huh.
Whereas if we wait till we get the phone call from
Mm-hmm.
Cayuga Health to come do a collaboration,
Then it goes swimming.
then it goes somewhere.
Ah.
So it's just that waiting for an invitation piece that's super tricky.
Interesting.
All right.
And how sweet that they gifted you with that along with no patience.
I know, right?
How fun.
It's like just laying it out there for us to become our best selves.
Oh my God.
Okay. That makes sense.
So we don't have any generators on the core team. I'm curious how many of our like
Yoga teachers.
we should do a poll in
Like, in
Slack
Slack.
and see
Yeah.
where people land. Because they're like, for people who are generators, it is just consistent energy and drive. Go, go, go. Opportunity, respond. Challenge, fix it. Go, go, go. Like there's such an intense like need to be in perpetual motion. And sometimes their energy is just like really a lot.
Do you want this in the general thread?
Sure.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
general. Make sure you set at channel. One of our students here at the studio does this through the Vedic, so it changes everybody. And in that one, I am just a generator, not just a generator, but I'm a generator.
Huh.
In that lens of looking at it. So
Mm.
I'm gonna keep my man gen hat on, but
I'm gonna keep
I
reminding-
like the man. Everything I read about man.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. Well, especially because there's in the slew of information you get, which I still have not.
There's so much.
There's so much. So like,
Yeah.
there's your energy type, which is like the type you are, and then beneath that there are other things like your profile. It's like your personality, and there are always two numbers. Like mine
the
is
lines.
yeah.
2-4.
I'm
Don't know what that
1-3.
means. You're 1-3, but the 2-4 is the easy breezy genius.
Oh, I love
Look at
that.
that.
What
Love
are you?
That one.
I'm
1-3?
1-3, I think.
The investigator martyr.
Yeah, the investigator murder. Uh-huh. Isn't that funny? Yeah.
Fine,
your
I'll look
numbers?
into it.
I don't.
Ugh.
I have it on my phone, but
We're using your phone.
Record.
Using
Yeah.
your
Oh, it's over there.
Yeah. Pure manifestors are Jess kind of covered this. Like they can initiate and like trailblaze and innovate in that way. And they can step into like leadership roles. They also tend to have really attractive auras.
Huh.
People are naturally drawn to them.
To which one? Sorry.
Manifestors.
Manifestors. Yep. Yep. So usually it's about like generating new ideas. It isn't often about like for the long
Right.
haul,
Right.
right?
Huh.
Like start something. Like they'd be really good at like the startup culture where it's like you know I'm going to start this business. I'm going to get it off the ground. I'm going to get it going. I'm going to sell it.
Consulting.
start a new business.
Brainstorming.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Alright.
all of those things. And
That's cool.
I do love a good
reflectors,
brainstorm.
reflectors are 1% of the population.
Oh wow.
I have only ever met 2 reflectors in my life.
Huh.
One of them I met last weekend, and my mind was blown. It's a girlfriend of a friend of ours, and I was like, "You're a reflector! Oh my god, I have to ask you so many questions. You know, like this is amazing." But rare, very very rare, very elusive at times. But they're basically like what you would think a reflector is. They are mirrors for people.
Huh.
And the thing about reflectors that they have to remember is like you have to pay such close attention to lunar cycles to function well in the world as a reflector. And talk about would drive me crazy. It would drive generators crazy. I don't know how generators and reflectors would be in relationship together. I imagine that wouldn't end very well. But like reflectors need to wait an entire lunar cycle before making a decision.
Oh.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
28 days?
Yeah.
Wow.
To make a
28
decision.
days
Oh,
to
okay.
make a decision.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a.
Sometimes if I have to wait an hour, I'm like chomping at
If
the
I have to
bit.
wait an hour, I'm like, clearly it's not written in the cards. Bye.
That's right. No, not for me.
Wow.
Wow.
But I remember you saying that, and the person did respond with something like, "Yeah, actually, I sit on decisions a long time."
Long time.
Yeah.
So like, then
Do they then always make the right one?
if they wait,
If they wait?
if they wait,
Huh.
if they wait,
Huh.
which I can imagine is also tricky in like work environments,
Yeah,
like
seriously.
relationships. Like, are we going here? Are we going here on vacation? You know, like, well, I'll tell you in a month.
So mundane decisions. I mean, like you're making decisions. You're literally making decisions all day long. Like,
Right.
Yes.
ew.
Yeah, that would be rough.
I mean, there are some decisions that you make every day that isn't actually a new decision.
Huh.
Right.
Okay.
You know,
hmm
like you're not making a
So like bigger change decisions or like things that like bigger purchase, bigger.
Right. Or
Yeah,
like
okay.
the more infrequent
More
questions,
infrequent.
right? Yeah.
Right.
Right.
They don't seem like they'd be very good in business at all.
I can't imagine.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
because you kind of have to make decisions all
Right.
the time and kind of
Right.
guess at it, and
Yeah.
it's
really
like,
good in government though.
yeah, probably very good at government.
Let's pump the brakes.
That's right. Let's
Okay.
Sit on this.
think about this for a little bit.
Let's just let it percolate. Yeah, they're like on a crock pot setting.
Yes, exactly.
Crock
They
pot
love
setting.
cooking with
Oh, I
crock
love
pots.
that.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Matt and I are the Instapots. We do lots
That's
of
right.
things.
Instapot.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
In the cast iron pan.
I love these lines though. So
Oh, so confusing.
The lines are cool.
I want to run
Very
down and like let everybody know what lines mean. And
They're
that
the
way-
connections from the centers, right?
right, they're the connections from the centers. And so it gives you a lot of information about how you be in the world. So a 1-3 is the investigator martyr.
Yep.
The 1-4 is the investigator opportunist. So ones are always investigators.
Investigators.
If you have a 1 in your profile, so you're a projector 1 whatever,
Mm-hmm.
investigator is 1. 1 equals
Okay.
investigator. Okay. 2-4 is a line. 2 is hermit.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
4 is opportunist. Are you a 2?
I'm a 2-4.
Yeah. You're gonna get it. Just want to know so bad.
So 2 is always the hermit, you say?
So 2
Okay.
is always the hermit.
Oh, boy, is it. Holy cow.
So a 2-4 is the hermit opportunist, which is like a pretty balanced, you know, like a longing to be inward and solitary, but the truth is that like you need to bring your talents out into community, and sometimes you need the community to demand that your talents be out.
Oh, okay.
And so when they're called into those like situations, like I think about when we host at our house, because we're in our house, you can be a hermit in the fact that you don't have to leave your sacred space.
Yeah,
But you become very gregarious and social
I do.
when people come
You're
over
a great
to our
host.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
When's the next party?
house. July 4th.
Okay.
So I'm 1-3.
1-3.
Oh, okay.
Also
Nice.
an investigator martyr.
Yes.
Now the martyr has a connotation that's like
I
not
know.
I know, but
ideal.
in human design, it's not a negative connotation. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
Yep. So 1-3s are always here about understanding things. You really want to. You're not just gonna be like, yeah, that makes sense. You're gonna be like, okay, but I want to know more
Okay.
about that, or like, let's go in a little bit deeper about that. Like the dynamic that shows up with Jessica and I is I'll be like, this is what we're doing. And she'll be like, we need to talk about that more. I mean, that's how you say it now, right? Like it's the like, I just, and she's not saying like, I don't receive it as like, no, we're not doing that, which some people would say that. And I would be like,
Yeah.
oh, they told me no, but I don't
Yeah.
feel that way from you. I know that she wants to know. Like,
Yeah, I just need to
like
talk about it
she's
more.
like, I'll like we
Cue
can
up at
do
the staff
whatever.
meeting.
And, and sometimes she'll be like, we can do whatever you want. I don't care. I just
Yeah.
want to know.
Just
And I'm
wanna
like,
know.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2-5 is the hermit heretic.
Oh.
So similar to 2-4, all those like natural talents that need to come out and needing to be called out. Heretic is often seen as a leader.
Huh.
Mm.
Wow.
I know these words.
I was like, this
Words that
heretic
aren't matching
doesn't
up in
sound
my
so
version
good.
of
Right, I
words.
know.
Heretic doesn't sound so good.
Also has a-
Right.
Yeah.
So 3-5, that's what I am, is martyr heretic.
Okay.
Oh.
Whew.
You got both the bad
It
words.
sounds
Jeez.
wild,
Yeah.
right?
Well, one usually follows the other. I mean, if you
Martyr
look at
heretic,
history.
true.
That's right.
Or like
Heretic
gets
martyr.
flippy flopped
Yeah.
around. Yeah, it's like we know, and we also know because we've tried other things and they've failed, but we know. And a lot of times there can be an assumption that we're a savior, like that we can save things.
So the martyr is that the martyr part?
It's the martyr part.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay,
Oh,
so
that
it's
sounds
like kind of like we're investigative saviors.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, it's the heretic that's the savior.
Fine.
Oh.
It's the heretic that's because you think about Jesus,
yeah.
That's
right?
right.
Like
Yeah.
everything he was saying was wrong. He was wrong. Like, and he is the ultimate savior, right? Like
Mm.
But
in
he
that
was a martyr.
Yeah, it was a
So-
martyr.
So what does the martyr mean then?
martyr, heretic, savior. So the martyr is about it's kind of like, well, I just have to sacrifice myself because we need a trial and error. Like we need to try to know if it'll work or not work. So
Okay.
I will sacrifice myself to the trial
Okay.
of this didn't work,
Okay.
and then the flip side to it being the savior.
Interesting.
Okay.
So interesting.
And 3-6 is the martyr role model.
Mm.
Martyr role model. I don't know if I know anybody who is a 3-6 profile. Yeah. Like the role model, the 6 often wants to be perfect. There's a perfection in here, like wanting at least to be seen as perfect. So that is definitely a trait of the role model line. And like life doesn't want 3-6s to get really comfortable because they can be kind of lazy in that role. 4-1 is the opportunist investigator. So we see a 1 as the second number. The investigator is the second number.
What's the significance of one first or second?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Just wondering because I have no idea.
That's a research point for you.
Quantum physics.
Alright.
Yeah.
Quantum physics.
Oh my god. No.
I will say that on this app, I think this might be in all human design stuff, but among like your authority and like your personality and profile, there are so many other categories that it gives you information on, like.
Oh, there's like splenic
like
authority.
Your not self. So how
Yep.
you feel when you're not doing things that are aligned for you. It's interesting. Then is your gifts.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it has like your main gift, but this also has like a dozen other things, which is
Weren't
like
we
one-
And these are
reading
your
about
gates.
this on
Yeah,
an
there's a whole
airplane one
yeah,
time?
we were
I was
we were
like,
doing
wait
the
a
gates.
second. We were reading this on an airplane.
We were
Is
looking
that
at
what
the
the
gates.
gates are? Your
Yeah.
gifts? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm laughing at this
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
because one of the things is your digestion. The
Yep.
best way for you to eat. Mine is peace and quiet. Low sound.
which always makes us laugh because
Because
we had
dinner
3
was
kids.
not always like that. For
dinner
a very
was
long
not
time.
quiet.
It
Open
was-
taste.
Open taste.
What the fuck does
What
that
does that
mean?
mean?
Wait,
Oh.
what
I
is
don't
that?
have mine.
You don't
Open
have
taste.
you don't have yours on your you don't
My
have an
phone's in the other room.
app?
I don't have
Oh.
a phone on me. It's
There's
weird.
also your strongest sense. Mine is touch. So I should have been a massage therapist.
Ah.
Well,
And
many
your-
people have told you that.
Your environment. Many people have told me that.
Mhm.
Really?
Caves. Mine is caves.
Oh, is it? Mine
Yeah.
is natural shores.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's
Oh, I
cool.
feel like mine's like melting pots.
Yeah, melting pots. I think mine is kitchens.
Yeah.
Your
something like that.
environment?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I know.
Hmm.
Interestingly, since we don't have one right now.
It's coming along.
It's
We're-
coming.
We're
Almost
about
there.
to. We're about to
My
burn
favorite
the kitchen.
part though is the angles because I'm the right angle cross of the Sphinx or something, and I just love.
Oh,
just
right.
love
You're the
that,
sleeping
like-
phoenix,
They
right?
did a good job
Yeah.
naming these things because they all have badass names. Like
Yeah.
life, is that life theme?
Yeah, m-
Incarnation
Yeah.
cross. Yeah, mine is right angle cross of the sleeping phoenix.
Oh, yours is so much cooler.
I know. Well, wait, what's yours?
Mine is right angle cross of planning. Like doing homework.
Some of them are cool.
Not cool at
Right
all.
angle cross of logistics.
Yeah, right.
Where? Life theme? Your incarnation phase cross?
Sure.
Scroll down. It's number 9.
Ugh.
What's yours?
Right angle cross of explanation.
That's
Oh.
right. That's right.
There we
Yeah, you
go.
were like, how did you get the Sphinx? And I got
Blah 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 blah
explanation.
blah 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 blah.
Right angle cross of mansplaining.
It's like every time I'm in my coaching class, I'm like, can I just preface this by saying I'm not a coach, I'm a teacher.
Amazing.
Not a coach, I'm a teacher.
I love that.
Um,
Honey, why don't you?
Oh, mine is
oh.
wet kitchens.
Wet
Ah,
kitchens?
Bro.
Interesting.
Well,
Is
we
there a
had
whole-
one when our
is there a
copper
list of the
pipe for
different
the
ones?
dishwasher broke. That kitchen
think
was
I'm
getting,
melting
Real.
Yeah.
It was a very wet kitchen that day.
Yeah.
Creative hubs bring out the best. What's a dry kitchen?
Yeah,
what we have currently.
Yes, it's true.
Kitchen with no sink.
Sarah's
That's why I'm
chimed.
not. That's why I'm not thriving.
Sarah has chimed in on the Slack thread. Splenic manifester.
Ooh.
Splenic.
First person to chime in.
So-
Shout out to
Of course she
Sarah.
was.
Shout out.
This is
Splenic.
her wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Her
drop
alley.
what I am. Yeah. Any other? How do we want to wrap this up? I mean, the cool part is, I think there's a lot of free resources. You can get a free version of an app or the website
Mhm.
even.
Uh-huh.
You type in your stuff, and then it can give you. Like I was able to get my chart,
Yeah.
and you can get a lot of the information through the free version. And the one I have is paid. It's like $5 a month.
I
It's
mean,
not
the thing is
terrible.
like, I don't know. I feel like with human design, ground in the language, like of who you are and the different like categories that pique your interest, right?
Mhm.
But then have someone explain your chart to you because it's just like,
That's what all I want is somebody to like do what they did for you.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because it's like when I watched that video, I was like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
this is what it means.
Right.
You know, because I've people have asked me, and I think the last time you guys asked me, I got it wrong what I was because I just couldn't even remember like what.
well,
it's so much
particularly
information.
as a projector,
Yeah.
like once I realized the invitation thing and realized that like the number one sign that I wasn't living in design, in alignment with my design, is feeling bitter,
Yeah, that's what it said for me
right?
too.
Like any
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of bitterness.
Bitterness,
Like
yeah.
the second I go into bitterness, I'm like, whoop, shit's got to change.
Huh.
Like I have to redirect like what I'm doing and where I'm putting my energy because you know, like, and it's interesting because Mother's Day is Sunday.
Yeah.
And so I've been reflecting on like past Mother's Days, and I'm a firm believer that Mother's Day is about active duty mothering. I'm like in the National Guard or something at this point.
Definitely in the reserves.
The
Like, you're
reserves.
not totally in the clear,
Right.
but like you're definitely
Right.
on call.
Yeah.
I mean, you have 3. You're on call quite a bit.
I still feel like it's not active duty.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not
Right.
getting kids
You're
up
not
in the
in the
morning. Like,
trenches,
you
yeah.
know.
Right.
And so I was just reflecting on the different Mother's Days, and I'm like, I remember so distinctly hating Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Because I would have all these expectations. I would have all these things that I wanted. Like, I just wanted to relax. I wanted the kids to be like taken care of, but in a way that they felt like happy and playful and weren't bugging me.
Or each
And,
other.
right? Like,
yeah.
I didn't want breakfast in bed because I would just envision what the kitchen just looks like down there after whatever happened to bring me the breakfast in bed.
Well, if the way Madeline ever did anything in the kitchen, that's any indicator.
I
it
know,
was gonna
right?
be a
And she would definitely like just
disaster.
go to town. She's like, I got this. I'm making breakfast. She's
Remember
9.
one time she was like 14, like I'm making cookies because so and so's coming over, and it's like the next morning I wake up, it's like just
A bomb.
bowls of batter and
Yeah,
gross. I'm
Just
like,
stuff everywhere. Chaos kitchen.
Thank you for the mess, dear.
And so I realized that like I can't make my ex at that time, like my partner at that time, can't make him do what I want him to do about this. The kids are too young. Like I am setting myself up for chronic disappointment, and then I get bitter, and and then I turn into like, well, guess what I'm doing for Father's Day? Not a goddamn thing. You know, like unhealthy relationship dynamics. And so I'm like, there were years where I would get up in the morning. I would have already purchased muffins. Let's all have muffins. They're already made from the grocery store. And I would get in the car and I would drive. At this time, we lived near Massachusetts. I'd drive to Deerfield, Massachusetts, where there was this fancy little restaurant. I would eat a salad by myself at lunch, and then I would go walk around the Yankee Candle Factory.
Oh,
Amazing.
I'd buy candles
That sounds
and
great.
little knickknacks for the house.
That was great.
I would, on the way home, I would stop and get like some kind of like dessert, ice cream, something. And I would come home and I would feel like happy and glad for Mother's Day and excited to see the kids. And I wouldn't care that the house looked the way that it did. But like that theme of bitterness was like, oh, something's got to change. And I had to realize that like, ew, I'm getting bitter about Mother's Day. I don't think that's the intention. Like, I don't think that's the point.
Yeah.
It's a big indicator that not for anybody else to do anything different. It's an indicator that I need to change my perspective, my energy, my attention on what I'm doing.
Interesting.
yeah. It's like I think the double-edged sword of this is that it can be very overwhelming with the amount of information.
Right.
But if
Yeah.
you're like, just don't take it all too seriously and take it by piece at a time, which I've tried to be doing because I'm like just scrolling through every single. Ooh, what's that mean? What's that mean? But it's too much. So if I just like look at one thing and just like let myself sit with it, it really does resonate. It's really cool. Like I'm getting a lot, I'm learning a lot.
Sweet.
I love it.
Love it. The
Human
good news
design.
is the person on staff who has some experience or training in human design will be here next week. So she'll be
true.
here.
She'll
wants
listen to the podcast.
she
when
wants
she
to round it
does.
out,
So she can tell
She
us
can
what we
be
got
like,
wrong
yeah,
and
front
add
desk
to
is-
what we got right.
And what it all means.
Front desk will be just an annotated bibliography of how we got everything wrong and messed it up.
Never would she ever.
No,
No,
she
she
wouldn't.
But I will want to talk about it a little bit because I'd be interested to hear her take on stuff because this is definitely the one I know the least about and want to learn more about. So yeah. So this has been awesome. Thanks, honey, for your note-taking cheat sheet.
Cheat sheet.
Love it.
Yes.
Awesome. So for the Wi-Fi Pod, Human Design, this is Matt.
This is Jeannie.
Jessica.
This is Josh.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.